the problem of drugs, especially in Zimbabwe, it is becoming entrenched. I just saw a story whereby Owen Mudangobe, who is the provincial Minister of Devolution, saying recommending the police in Midlands for actually carrying out a raid whereby they discovered illegal alcohol, which is sold which is made by the people, sold to the streets, and a lot of people are taking drugs in Zimbabwe. I've never heard that. But it is becoming too much these days. Young people are losing it out. A lot of people are actually getting their lives destroyed through drugs. There is so much distribution of drugs in the streets of Zimbabwe these days. Who is behind this? Why is the best police in Zimbabwe not actually getting hold of these people? If it was just mere individuals, where is the society going with this drug issue? Greetings and welcome on your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, guess what? You become the very first one to watch us. Drugs are becoming a serious problem. They are becoming, in fact, a national problem in Zimbabwe. In almost all the streets, young people are taking drugs. Drugs are readily available. It's something that was not there. Yes, people were smoking marijuana, they were smoking, but not drugs. These days, there are drugs in all. I don't know, maybe if your family is not affected, but my family has also been hit hard by these drugs. You discover that you begin to understand this, especially if one of your relatives is actually taking these drugs. They are destroying our society. Who is behind this? We have been told that in Zimbabwe, drugs, there is strong policy, but security is tight. Then if security is tight, then how are these drugs entering the country? That is the question that I have. And I think this, I'm interested in hearing you also commenting on this one, because honestly, I can attest to you that this cannot happen the way it is happening, at a rate it is happening, without someone at the top or individuals at the top involved distribution syndicate. Someone somewhere somehow is involved in this, in the transportation of these drugs, in the distribution of these drugs, at a very, very alarming rate. And the problems with drugs, once a young person starts taking drugs, then you have lost that person. It's either that person will end up running mad, or that person will end up actually being destructive to himself, will end up actually living in the streets. We will end up having more people living in the streets as a result of drug consumption. I've seen ZANU-PF actually launching programs to deal with drugs. In fact, they had to fundraise this, which means that the government did not allocate any fund to actually deal with this problem. And are they sincere? Are they sincere? If they claim that they have the strongest security in the land, why are drugs distributed at such an alarming rate? In my humble submission, I strongly believe big guns in ZANU-PF, they are involved in the distribution of drugs. They are involved in the distribution of drugs. In all countries where drugs are a problem, it has been discovered that ministers, sometimes those ministers who may actually seemingly be doing job, going with the police, raiding certain spots, and actually presenting it on national TV as if they are doing something, yet the problem continues to actually escalate. There is a new problem, a new pandemic, if ever I can call it, in Zimbabwe, which is drugs. There is drugs everywhere in the streets, because also of the high levels of stresses, psychological impact on our people as a nation. They find themselves having no option but being vulnerable to take these drugs on the streets. And you know, once you enter into drugs, then it's not easy. Yes, there are people who have come out of it, but very few. Many of them, their lives were destroyed. I'm talking about professionals. I'm talking about people who had the potential to be somewhere in life. But once they start taking drugs, and the life just stops like this. How are these drugs entering the country with a tight security, almost roadblocks everywhere? If these people who are involved in the distribution are not working with the government, something is fishy, especially relating to this drug problem. So I locate this problem to the government. I locate this problem to the security clusters in Zimbabwe, because you cannot transport anything in Zimbabwe without being actually caught. How are these drugs moving to the streets? How are these drugs even entering the borders in the first place? Because of the, in quotation, high security levels in the country. It's a question I'm interested. Can we discuss this? It's a really serious problem. If you haven't actually been affected somewhere, somehow, definitely one day you will understand what that guy was talking about. Thank you very much for watching us. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we film live,